Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing today? Welcome in. Greenleaf Raja, good morning. Happy Tuesday, because it's Tuesday, and happy July. Welcome in, guys. Hey, Culture American. Well, hello there. Why did it not, it didn't register the command when you say, well, hello there? Weird. Super weird. Audio was stuttering for a minute? Oh no. Don't tell me my internet's going to crap. It looks like I'm doing okay. Can you guys hear me now? Hey Zen, good morning. Alright guys, let's jump in. I am, where's your, I'll tell you, General Kenobi. There, you got it. Alright, we're painting the most adorable little tanks today. That's what we're doing. I should probably pull a picture of these just so I have an idea. This one, just a little bit of a guide here. Alright, nothing too crazy though. Yeah, these are fairly simple. I don't have a 360 shot. Okay, that's right. Little RC tanks. All right. I have to. I printed Zen some of the minis, and one of them just like failed because my printer. I don't know. Something must be misaligned on my printer or something. But I have to reprint it for him. Hey, Fulton, what's going on? Good morning, guys. Yeah, today we're going to paint these things. I have two of them. And they are magnetized. So the weapons I primed in silver. So we got that. And I also have the little box things on the back. It's definitely a process to magnetize. So I was rushing to get these magnetized too. It was a whole thing. The rumor mill. If you want to talk about the rumor mill, John Lockridge, the rumor mill is definitely not. It's probably like Palatine Enforcers, like something Necromunda. The grenades match the exact grenades that the like Palatine Enforcer minis have. So, Plutov, welcome. Or Pluto VR, welcome. So yeah, these things, look how little they are. They're just little tanks. But yeah, I magnetize them. So the back crate magnetizes there. I have two big 6mm magnets in here, and I believe I put, it was 6mm magnets or 4mm magnets inside of here. The the quad mortar, I had to like scrape and trim out a place where I could just fit this straight down. And this is nice because it comes with a little stand right here that holds it at a proper angle. The laser destroyers, I didn't have to do as much craziness with the trimming before I put the magnet in, but since these usually glue in place, when I just magnetize them, they're so front heavy that they just like sag. They're like this. They're sad. They point down. So I had to make my own little like kickstand, and I just took a piece of sprue and put it under there. You'll never see it, so it's not like that big of a deal. But yeah, so I have those, and yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna start with silver, I think, and then we'll go with gold. There's not a lot to the basic body of these weapons. It's, painting tracks and then, maybe a little more detail within here if I want to. And I could maybe paint a little bit in here, but it's a lot of silver and maybe some white as like a secondary or black as a secondary. The crew, however, have a lot more going on with them. These crew are really cool looking. He's in focus. Let me focus. So they have cool bolters in like holsters. They got crazy looking like tech marine helmets. Their backpacks are really neat and unique. You know, this guy has like an augury scanner. He's pointing. There's this guy. He's got like a little trigger control with like a thumb button. What's up, Crucial Blue? How you doing? And a computer attached to his backpack. It looks like it's like retractable and stuff, and he's pushing buttons and doing all that. So there's this guy. There is also this one right here. He's holding his bolter. I thought that was a cool pose. Big disadvantage of these is like 3 of these legs are practically the same. 3 of the Mini's legs. They're just standing still, which is appropriate for a... Alright, no problem, Raja. Enjoy your lurk, and Cultured, you're going. Alright. But yeah, this guy's cool. He's got binoculars and stuff. And then the last guy we have is all about his little laptop computer here. So... But yeah, so that's these minis. We'll definitely be putting gold, and we'll be doing different colors on them. I kept these minis with no 3D prints, so there's no 3D prints on these minis, no like unique Thousand Suns helmets. I figured as a first like squad of these, and since they're very tech breed, I thought it'd be cool just to keep them how they are. And this kit's fantastic too. Like I didn't want to like mess too much with this kit with my first time with my like first squad. I'm sure I'll get another in the future. But but yeah, so that's what we're doing. Has Painting Sun ever had hand, foot, mouth? No, we haven't, fortunately. No. I really hope that's not going around in your house, because that sounds horrible. I've always heard it's pretty miserable. Okay, oh, that sucks. That sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, we've had our share of like weird sicknesses and things happening. Give me just a second, guys. I am woefully unprepared. I don't even have my apron on. This is not the painting dad way. Okay, yeah, unwatchable. That really does suck. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, man. I hope it goes quick. You don't have to deal with it too long. Okay, putting some of that. We're gonna thin this just a little bit. We're using the Pro Acryl steel, which is their new AMP silver, so go on for weeks or just 5 years old. Oh my gosh, that's horrible. I'm so sorry, man. Work from home. Oh yeah, there you go. Silver lining. You don't have to go into the office, right? It's pretty cruddy silver lining. No, the silver lining is good, but it's a cruddy reason to have a silver lining. I was supposed to have family come in this week, and there's some medical things going on where they're not coming in, so we got a lot of other stuff we're doing, but that's pretty much a lot of my week's plans kind of out. I think my sinus has been going crazy, but I think it's like allergies that have been hitting me hard. Wait in the stream before we dive into 3.0. I mean, we can get into it right now if you want, because I'm more than happy to talk. I got lots of like random things to talk about, but you want to talk 3.0? We can keep talking about hand, foot, and mouth if you guys want to. But wait, no, I'll wait. Okay. What are we doing? Type quicker. My progress, but don't want to interrupt. Okay, yeah. On the mini repainting last night, right? Who was that? Was that my mini marvels? That's sculpting now and has a sculpt he put out. It's the Line Creative. That's who it was. Okay, Line Creative. That's awesome. Yeah, he's making busts, like STLs and everything. It's really good looking too. Yeah.
Look at me.
All right. Let's go have a look. Hey, there it is. Man, the yeah, it's looking really good so far. You glazing like the roots like growing out of her back is really good. The like leather or whatever that like hide like shirt thing, that's really well done. Yeah. Great looking mini. The eyes are looking really good. Yeah, it's all looking fantastic, man. I worked on the hair and skin. Yeah, great stuff, man. Yeah. Yeah, that is solid work. Yeah, guys, go check out Crucial Blue's work in the Whips photo submissions channel. Be right back, just a second. All right. Is it better painting eyes? Like how was it painting eyes on a on like a larger scale mini as opposed to you know, like the 28 mil or the 30 mil that we usually paint? Are you feeling more pressure because it's a larger scale and you feel like you have to paint more detail, or is it just easier overall because it's larger? Like what are you thinking? Infinitely easier. Okay. Hey, Zedrogue, welcome. Or ZD Rogue, welcome. How are you doing? It's easier. Well, fantastic job, man. More pressure, but easier because a 00 doesn't cover the entire eyeball. That's fair. One of these days, I'll paint like a large scale bust. Yeah, it has been a bit, hasn't it? How are you doing? What kind of projects you've been working on? How's life been going? Tell me everything. What's your social security card number? You know, all that stuff. Just I'm just kidding. Please don't give me that. But Misfit, how you doing, man? Good morning. That's my streamer. There's probably some TOS thing like you can't even ask. I was really wanting to stream on Sunday night. I was like really looking forward to it. I was going to start painting these things because I worked my butt off. I went Saturday morning and got these. I picked up my pre-order and I got home and I started assembling them, and I didn't get as far as I wanted to with the time I had, but then that evening I finished magnetizing them, and then I primed them, and then Yeah, I think it was, and I was gonna be like, yeah, have that, Heresy event. We're gonna go on Sunday. It's a pretty short thing. It's just 2 rounds, and I'll get home with enough time to varnish, and then I'll paint these on stream. I didn't get home until like 8:40. So much for getting home, uh, doing a bunch of stuff and then streaming. And I had a crazy headache. Just a quick adventures in and out. Yeah, we were there. It was a slog. It was fun though. It was fun. I want to talk about these games. Me and Zen will talk about it here in a little bit. But we partnered up. We did a doubles event together, and we did just fine for ourselves. Yeah, it was a good time. How are you? How's the family? What you been working on lately? Where's your bank account and PIN? Yeah, you good barbecue lately? Yeah, just those things. I'm always reminded of the man, really old like internet. It was the Arnold's Pizza Shop. Do you guys remember that? Like the prank phone call, like ordering pizza. And he's like, your choices of toppings, and it's like, pepperoni, bullet, like 9mm bullets, and and then he eventually is like, okay, we need your name, your phone number, your social security number. Like he just keeps going on. It's just funny. Misfit both. They are both anti-armor and anti-infantry, depending on what you give them. So I magnetize mine. Each kit comes with an anti-armor and an anti-infantry weapon. The kit I bought has the laser destroyer, which is like 4 las cannons basically strapped to each other, and it also came with a quad mortar, which is a like pinning anti-infantry weapon. I would like to use both, so I magnetized. Do you remember Arnold's Pizza Shop? My wife and Aldi. It's never a quick trip. Yeah. Oh man, I love Aldi. My town. Okay, so I live in this little town, and Aldi proposed a location. Like they wanted to open a store in my town, and at the time, our mayor was like a lawyer or whatever. He like had a law practice before he was a lawyer, and all this. He's like big shot lawyer. All these things. Our entire town though, it's like warehouses. Okay, which is like the Ohio special. I feel like just warehouses. It's pretty much the only place people work. But anyway, Aldi wanted to open a grocery store. We don't have an actual grocery store. We just have like a little little small town market that's like family owned or whatever. Well, they declined Aldi's proposal or whatever to open a store in our town. And the reason presented wasn't that it would take business away from the little market that, has been there forever. That wasn't the reason. The mayor that we had at the time said, poor people shop at Aldi. So we don't want Aldi here, because poor people shop at Aldi. Yeah. Yeah. So what they did was, they opened the Aldi like a mile and a half down the road in the next town where everybody's gonna shop. But like also, like yeah, most out of touch dude. He ended up losing the next election to a lady who's still mayor, who like everybody loves, but it's small town politics, right? It was just wild. It was wild that it's like he's like, yeah, poor people shop at Aldi. We're like, who is this guy? Yeah. I grew up with that guy's daughter. She was he named her after a car. Just gonna say that, but she was also kind of a cruddy person. So yeah, see, we don't even have a Dollar General in our town. It's just crazy. Apparently, poor people shop at Dollar Generals. So Jaguar would be a wild name. No, he did name his daughter Mercedes, and yeah, he named her after the car. Yeah, Chevy T-Top. You have cheerleading practice now, Audi A8. Let's Model T. Yeah, Miata. Oh, Miata would be one. That's I could see that. Oh man, yeah. M3 taking a pee. It's like a crappy car. Like he has like two daughters, and one is named Mercedes, and the other one is named uh like Ford Taurus or something, you know. Like this is the daughter I don't love. Yeah. Oh, that's ridiculous. Yeah. So that lady, his daughter, is my age. I went to school with her, and through like elementary and middle school, and she was like, ugh, she's just one of like just absolutely mean person. But she ended up. My son started preschool, and the school district where I grew up, and turns out she was his preschool teacher. I was like, oh yeah, hey, yeah, so nice to see you. Yeah, oh man, I love living in the town where I grew up, and I have to see people that I haven't seen in 20 years, and I don't care to ever see again. Yeah. For tennis, Sorrento, get your brother Trailblazer. Just like an extra vowel, yeah. Two A's, man. Two A's. That's all it is. So yeah, that's the story why my town does not have an Aldi, but there's an Aldi a mile and a half down the road where the next town over gets all the tax revenue from it. Because they opened a big box gun store, but not Aldi. So the name that my kids go to school with is Jackson. Yeah. See, we had very limited options for naming our son because my wife is a teacher. And she's not only a teacher, she's like the specials teacher at her school. She's the music teacher. So she sees 600 kids a week. And she has very strong opinions about just about every name that you could imagine. So when we were thinking of names for my son, it was more of an exercise for my wife of like, I know kids with that name and they were terrible. So no. And we had to find one that had, kids that were kids that were good. Hey Yoshi, what's up? Painting Sun's a great choice. Yeah, there's not many Painting Suns. Pretty unique. Yeah. Man, you guys are on a roll. Who was talking about Heresy? Who? Okay, alright, no. Before Heresy, we gotta talk about one more thing. One more thing. So, we have been watching the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies with my son. Okay? And, we're watching them in chronological order. Okay, so it's like the order of like when the movie takes place. And we're going through. My son doesn't know anything about any of these movies. Our current plan is to stop after like the Infinity Saga, so we're not gonna get into like all the TV shows and stuff. But we watched Infinity War this weekend, and we finished it last night. My son is very into these movies, and again, has no idea what's going to happen through these movies. We did watch the end credit scene for Ant-Man and the Wasp when it shows Hank and Hope Pym like turn into dust. You know, like it's happening the same time as Infinity War. So we watched that, and he's like, "What is that?" He's like, "Are they dead? What is that?" We're like, "I'm not telling you anything, kid." So, he's seen that and he didn't know. We watched Infinity War last night. And, you know, spoiler alert if you haven't seen this, like, 8-year-old movie, the Avengers lose, and Thanos snaps, and they all just start dying. And my son was in tears. We were really wondering what his reaction would be. It was literal tears. Like Groot dying and, like, Rocket freaking out that Groot is dying. Groot's his favorite. Spider-Man's death is pretty like horrible because he's like crying and like begging not to die and all this stuff. He was crying at the end of that movie. So we thought he would be really upset. I don't know if I expected like actual tears, but yeah, the I don't feel so good, and he's like crying like Spider-Man's like crying while Tony's holding him and everything. Yeah, it's just it's pretty brutal. It is a brutal scene. Hey, Sir Stroming Fish, what's going on, man? They should have ended it there. That'd be wild. Well, afterwards, you know, my son is upset. He's like, "Well, they can't be dead, right? Because there's more movies." And we're like, well, we'll see. But I told my son, I was like, "Well, we're probably gonna watch this movie like this week, like Endgame. Like Endgame is the next movie." He's like, "How can they do one Avengers movie after the other? That's crazy." And this whole thing. But we told him, like, dude, when this movie came out, we watched it, and we watched the Avengers lose, and all these people die, and we had to wait like 9 months before the next Avengers movie came out. So, yeah, the good old plot armor. Yeah. Yep. But it was pretty wild. Man, Infinity War is a great movie. Thanos is a great villain, and I don't mean to say that like I don't want to be one of those people like, yeah, Thanos is right. Let's kill half the people in the universe or whatever. But like, it's nice to see a villain with like real motivation. That's not just like, I want my business to have more money, or you know, like, I want revenge. It's none of that. Like, it's like pure conviction on what he's doing is right. And man, he's really well done. It's really cool. So, good movie. Good movie. Yeah, I do agree. I think after the whole Infinity Saga, like, it all just kind of breaks down, right? These are the new Astartes rapier minis, the new plastic ones that came out. Yeah, the Solar Aux haven't got their plastic ones yet. I'm sure they'll be happening soon. These rapiers are actually different sets than the Space Marine sprues. More interesting in movies than he is in the comic. Is he really interesting? Okay. Which is rare. That's really interesting. I wouldn't have thought that. But yeah. All right. Anyway, I want to talk about my son was not happy with the end of. Well, I mean, he wasn't happy with the end of Civil War either. He's like, "What do you mean? Like they're all like broken up and you know they're in prison and or like he gets them out, but it's just like you know why is everybody mad at everybody and I don't like this. This should not have ended here." And then we get to Infinity War and he's just not okay with it. But one of these my Amazon account. I wonder if it's new ones. Yeah, if it's the box, if it has like the Sons of Horus or the Imperial Fists on the front, it's like a box of 2. That should be the new ones. All right, so Heresy. Let's talk Harry C. Okay, the Harry. His in the comics kind of a goober. That's right, because his girlfriend's like Death or whatever, right? It's like that whole thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, Thanos in the movie is really cool. So, Brains for the Masters. Yeah, here I'll show you. Misfit. The crew in this crew set is fantastic, and I hope you can end up buying this sprue separate because just one sprue for these crew. So they have like holstered bolters. They have cool tech marine helmets. All of their backpacks are the same with this. This guy's controlling one of the rapiers here with a computer. We got another computer guy. He just has both hands on the wheel here, both hands on the computer doing stuff. But they comes with 4 holstered bolters. It's really cool. Here's another guy with a holstered bolter, and he's got I gave him like an Auspex scanner. There's lots of options for like these arms. There's only 4 helmets. There's no extra helmets. There's no extra backpacks. There's 4 holstered bolters. 2 of the guys kind of have to have these computer pieces. But yeah, so it'd be great on its own, but there's not like the spare parts to take like what's left from one of these kits and make a whole new Marine. And then this is the other guy. He's got a cool like bolter on like a with like the strap over his shoulder, which is really cool. I like this pose, and he has binoculars. And there's also a pose like looking through binoculars and stuff. So very cool minis. I love these crew. So great set. All right. We want to talk about the Heresy stuff over the weekend. There wasn't any more leaks coming out over the weekend. I still feel like we're going to get Libers starting to leak by the end of this week. Like actual like full rules and everything, or at least, pages of books and stuff like that. But there were some articles that popped up yesterday and today. 3 notable articles. One for Loyalist Legions, one for Traitors, and then one for they're called the Journals Tactica, I think is what they're called. Which the first one is coming out alongside the release. So the journals, as my first thought here, the journals, they explained what they are and what they have in them, and they said they're coming in thick and fast, so they're apparently going to have a bunch of them coming out. I would assume probably like every other month they're gonna release journals. It looks like it's like the Specialist Design Studio, right? And they're following the Old World model of these like little journals that add bits of rules for factions, without like costing an arm and a leg, and they don't have, it's not like the big campaign books that we were used to for Heresy. So if you had like the Siege of Cathonia was just like, massive $60 book, it was full of like tons of lore and stuff, and had like a little bit for everybody kind of thing. They're not doing that, at least not at that scale. So these books will be like $25, maybe $30. I don't know how much the journals are. The journals are a lot cheaper. And they specifically said that not all of these are going to be for every faction, so it's going to be, you don't need to have these. And yeah, some of them will be faction specific. It was on pre-order this weekend. Sir Stroming Fish, what's happening is this coming Sunday will be the preview. So this weekend, Idneth is going up for pre-order. This Sunday, it's going to be Heresy, Sunday preview for pre-order starting on the 12th. It gets released on the 26th, and all of the Libers are being released at the same time. They've already said the Libers are being released day 1. That's the 5 Libers, which is everything except for the Talons of the Emperor. So it's there's the main box set, and then you have the core rulebook, Liber Astartes, the Liber Hereticus, which are the two Space Marine ones. Liber Solar Auxilia, the Liber Auxilia, Liber Mechanicum, and the Liber Questoris, which has the Knights and Titans. Later, they're going to do a Liber. Preview this weekend. Yeah. They're going to do the Talons in a couple months. It looks like they're going to have a bunch of minis released for it. They're also releasing the Siege of Istvan Part 1 Journal Tactica along with this release. And I don't know if they're also releasing individual box sets for the minis coming in Saturnine. I would say probably not. I think it's just books in the big box set. But yeah, that's the things that are coming with the release from this one. Yeah, what's going to be really crazy is having all of the rules for almost all of the armies out right away, like day one. There's going to be so much info to go through. It's going to be crazy. Like when leaks start coming, I'm going to spend today and just read through the Liber Hereticus. Like that's going to be my day. You're going to have to keep doing stuff like that. It's going to be crazy. Phone call from the VA as soon as I type that. Oh yeah. Dang, what's going on, Gosu? How you doing? All right, so the Journals Tactica, there's a lot going. Yeah, I don't think the individual Saturnine kits will be out right away. I think those will be out, in a month or so. Yeah, I'm excited. So, all right, Journal Tactica. So, what's going on with this Journal Tactica? We're going to start getting a little bit on these guys. I don't think I need much. I'll do this middle part silver here. They are, they're going to pick, little snippets, and they're doing, these mini books. And I would say if you use, New Recruit or Battle Scribe to build an army list, don't worry about buying these if you just want the unit rules. Right? They're more for people that want to collect a specific book, but they did say they're doing journals for specific legions. So if anybody here follows the Old World, what the Old World did was they put out 2 big rule books for one for the good side, one for the evil side. It's the Force of Fantasy and the Ravening Hordes. And then every army got an arcane journal. That's sounding familiar. And the arcane journal didn't have full army rules. What it had was special ways to play the army, new magic items, named characters, and all of them have, for the most part, been new named characters, and new minis to go along with that. So, what I see happening, maybe starting next year, we'll get our first arcane journal, or our first Journal Tactica that is for a specific faction. So, let's say Thousand Suns, just for the sake of it. Thousand Suns Journal Tactica will come out. And it'll come out alongside maybe a plastic upgrade sprue set, and then maybe a unique Legion unit or 2. And I don't want to say there will be plastic Primarchs, but a unique Legion unit or 2. And then it'll come with unique ways to play. So probably late Heresy, Thousand Suns, and maybe another way that you can play them, another Rite of War type thing. And that'll be their book, and it'll be a little 48-page book. It'll have a little bit of lore, and it'll have new army rules, and it'll coincide with plastic releases for that Legion. And if they do these quickly, and I think they would need to do them a lot faster than they do the arcane journals for the Old World, but if they do them quickly, they would spend a year or so just putting out arcane journals for legions, and just a couple sets for each legion, upgrade box, and a unique Legion unit, and boom, you have a ton of extra bits to make the Legion stuff. You can make all kinds of Legion units. Maybe they give you guides on kit bashing specific parts to make cool units, because they do that in the arcane journals, and a lot of them for the Old World, where they're like, hey, use this unit and combine these 2 kits. I love the unique Legion stuff. So Journals Tactica, really cool idea, and I like it. And also, the smaller dollar commitment makes me more willing to pick these up just to have. I'm sure there are going to be plenty I'm not going to buy, but I'm more willing to grab these, and I'm like, yeah, there's 2 or 3 units I want the rules in here for. unlike, I bought the Siege of Cathonia book, but the Siege of Cathonia book, I bought it, and the literal the two things that had Zone Mortalis rules, which will be a journal on their own, and had Zone Mortalis rules, and it had Inductii. So I literally bought it for the rules for one squad, in a play style that's available on a PDF that people just share every time we do a Zone Mortalis event. So, like, that was a $60 book. I'm fine to pay for a $30 book or $25 book to do that. Frank M, what's going on? I'm sorry your phone hates Twitch, but welcome in on YouTube. Yeah. So, cool stuff. I think we're going to wait on this. Yeah, we're going to wait on those. All right. So we're just painting guns right now. Should I? You know what? We'll get the silver on the Legionaries too. We got time. And we got paint. Yeah. So very excited with the Journals Tactica. Yeah, it seems super cool. I like that idea. I haven't bought any arcane journals for the old world because I play vampire accounts, and since they're not technically a real army to GW, they don't release a journal for them yet. But all right. Yesterday, we also got preview for Legions Astartes, and they showed off it was pretty anemic. They showed off a Dark Angels rule, a Space Wolf rule, and a Raven Guard rule, and that was it. And they didn't really talk about the others. So, pretty disappointing overall, like the amount of that they previewed. And, Zendral called it where he's like, they're going to preview one random rule for each type of rule, and then that's going to be it. And sure enough, that's what they did. All three of the rules seem really good, the ones they showed. I don't know if these are just going to be the powerful rules, or if it's just an example of Legions will have some strong things that they can take advantage of. This is not a destroyer. This is a crew to the new Rapier battery. But the Dark Angels rule looked really neat. It was it's their advanced reaction is what it is. So, and as far as I know, advanced reactions aren't left to once per game like they are in 2.0. So you can use these a bunch. But it is, you just pick a squad during the fight phase, and they fight a second. You just repeat the fight phase. That's what you do with the squad. I don't know if it's just that squad or if it's every unit in the fight gets to fight again. But you just straight up get to redo the fight phase, which is wild. Yeah, the little rapier batteries are so adorable. Yeah. You just play 30k, Blue. Man, you're getting a big dreadnought. You're gonna, you're halfway there. No. Do it. Yeah, join the cool kids club. Yep. So, yeah, Dark Angels get straight up fight again, which is pretty wild reaction. Space Wolves just get +2 on their charge moves. It's the setup move, which is even better. So a tactical squad, instead of a 3-inch setup move before they charge, is a 5-inch, which is nuts, because that just stops enemy overwatch. It makes everything more reliable. Their tactical squads can just straight up charge 2 inches further than everybody else, and their average charge range is 9 inches or something now, 9 or 10 inches or something crazy. It's an insane threat bubble. It's a very simple rule, and I hope they have more to it. But that's just their rule. Yeah, I hope there's a lot more flavor to these Legion rules that they've shown. Palpatine between you and G sides. Yeah, no, it's my job to get people into Heresy. It's what I do. Fuzzy there. Get you. There we go. Okay. Do it. So just stop playing 40k and just play Heresy. Then you only have one rule set to remember. Yeah, the Raven Guard. So what they showed for the Raven Guard is a gambit. And what gambits are, when you're in a challenge with an opponent, and only certain models, it's like command and champion models, can be in challenges. So challenges won't happen often, but a challenge like combat is it's a whole thing in itself. So what happens when you fight in a combat at the start of the challenge? Yeah, you should, Blue. Yeah, absolutely. You sweet dude. Fly out. I'll pick you up from the airport. Tried so hard. Yeah. Yep. Tried so hard and got so far. In the end, it doesn't really matter. You do this like gambit thing where you choose kind of like a style that you're going to fight in for that round. And then you roll off, and then it's like the gambit gives you like bonuses. It kind of like changes how you fight and everything, and like what you do in the duel. Every faction will have unique gambits, and it looks like named characters will also have unique gambits. So those are going to be like a whole thing. But the Raven Guard unique gambit is, no matter what, you strike first. You attack first. You get one attack. If that attack hits and wounds, then you do the rest of your attacks first. If it doesn't hit or it doesn't wound, so it has to do both, then you just lose the rest of your attacks. You get murdered to a man on Isfan. Yeah, that's their gambit, yeah. It's called Decapitation Strike. It's pretty cool. Like, you go for the head. If you fail, then it's like a big downside. So I like that. You know, it feels like a gambit, right? Medicate me better than Jack Sparrow. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Take a boat, dude. I don't know. There's a private airport in your town. So yeah, that's all the rules they showed for the loyalists, which is pretty lame. The traders they showed, they did a similar thing, but they talked about more rules for legions, which was really cool. So the World Eaters rule is insane, but I also think that World Eaters rule is like late Heresy World Eaters. They're gonna have another rule that's not gonna be quite like that. I think that's the late Heresy, but it's called the Nails Are Biting, which is great. And it's basically, if you take a leadership test and you fail, you don't fall back. You just give in to the nails and you go nuts, and you get a bunch of bonuses. That's it. There's no falling back. It's just straight up like going ballistic when you should be like leaving the battle. They're biting. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of gross. They just start biting everybody. Yeah, don't bite your nails, guys. But yeah, that's a cool like a cool Legion rule, you know, like it's got like a lot of bonuses, a lot of things that happen. So it's not just like +2 to set up move when you charge like Space Wolves. Like, there's a lot more to it. Insano from the nails. Yeah, yep. Like I said, it's definitely they said that Emperor's Children and World Eaters are getting multiple rights of war to represent the early and late Heresy versions of themselves. So I think that's a late one. Just my thought about that. They're Corsair Reavers, yeah. Is that what Corsair Reavers do? They showed, the gambit they showed was Perturabo's unique gambit. So, because I think every Primarch is going to have their own unique gambit, but Perturabo's in a duel, and everybody is predicting this for Iron Warriors in general, but this is just Perturabo, which is unfortunate. Be grateful to every Iron Warrior. But the Perturabo's unique gambit is he could just decide not to attack that round, and a friendly unit can just shoot into the challenge. So, you have a super heavy tank, somewhere, down the board or whatever. The super heavy tank just shoots your opponent. Or like a melt-a-gun squad or something. Now, they have to be... this has to be snapshots, but snapshots aren't as bad in this edition as they were in previous editions, so... generally hitting on 5s. You have a squad of melt-a-guns hanging out near Perturabo, they'll just nuke something that tries to challenge him. That's pretty much what happens. No courage, they have to charge the nearest mono. Oh, interesting. Okay. It always makes you think of that line from Istvan 5 with the word bearers. They message the Iron Warriors and like, brothers, you're firing our positions. Like, stop, you're killing our men. And the Iron Warriors guy is like, what does he say? He says, the War Master said there would be sacrifices this day. He's like, hey, yeah, just this crazy line. Like, be cheerful for your sacrifice or something, which is just... yeah. Okay, we'll need to figure out how to paint these computers. Running Man reboot? I've never heard of Running Man. And yeah, I did see there was like a trailer for Running Man. I'd never heard of it, so... even though it was previously a movie. So continuing with the traders, they show the advanced reaction. They show as Night Lords, and the Night Lords' advanced reaction is the same as it was in second edition, which is pretty funny. I saw that. I didn't watch that trailer, Zen, but I did see that was out. My wife is not watching it because she doesn't want to spoil any of the book. She does completely agree with you, though, with your opinions about that book so far. Classic Arnold. Yeah, I've never seen it. Or maybe I have and I just don't remember it. But, sacrifices to chaos are all well and good. But until you're the sacrifice. Yeah. No, setup moves are not a thing in 2.0. Charges in 2.0 are just flat 2d6. And if you move really fast, you get like a bonus to that. Like +1 or +2 or +3 if you're super fast. Yeah, the Night Lords, if they get declared as the target of a charge, you just fall back. Which, with the way charges work now, is wildly good. It is so incredibly good just to shut down people, make them fail charges. Because not only do they not get the charge they want, but when you fail a charge in Heresy 3.0, you take a whole bunch of negatives. Like you get like stunned, or you get like a status, which is really bad. Is like a really negative effect. So Night Lord just being able to run away from charges and basically guarantee they get away from them is really good. The thing about Night Lords, though, that you'll have to keep in mind is you need to keep out of like the setup distance, because that setup move that units get prevent reactions. You do the setup move, then you react. I think that's how that works. And maybe the Night Lords one is worded to where it supersedes that. But yeah, basically you just get to yeah, so a setup move is a small movement that you make at the start of your charge, and it's like a set movement. Your average Space Marine, like Tactical Marine, their setup movement is 3 inches, and it's a combination of movement and initiative, and they have like a little chart that you have that you kind of add those two numbers, and then you like factor them into this little chart. So with the setup move, what you do, you move that 3 inches. You say you're a tactical squad, you move your 3 inches, and then units do a couple things. So that's when like an Overwatch would happen. But units also, it's not a pylon or consolidate. This happens before. It's the first thing you do. After your setup move, then units do a thing called volley fire. So any weapon with the assault keyword or pistol makes a shot after the setup move. It has to be snapshots, which is not as punishing as they were in 2.0. Oh, internet died. Oh no, it's not me, is it? No, it doesn't look like it's me. They have to be snapshots, or the enemy can make a reaction and do Overwatch, which is full ballistic skill and using all of their weapons. So you do that. Then after that volley fire step, then you try to finish your charge. And what you do is you roll 2d6 and you pick the highest, and that's your charge distance. So what happens is, say a tactical marine unit wants to charge. They have a 3-inch setup movement. They shoot their pistols, and then they roll 2d6 and choose the highest. That means that their minimum charge distance is 4 inches, which is a lot better than it used to be. Their maximum charge distance is 9 inches, which is a lot less than it used to be. And overall units are going to be in a similar situation, to where charges are more consistent, but they're a lot shorter range. And it's that my out of focus camera is probably what it is, Zedro. But thank you, I appreciate that. I appreciate the compliment. The faster the unit or the higher the initiative, the bigger setup move they have, which is really important. But you'll also have things like certain units can't set up move. So if you have something that's a disordered charge, and there's different things that cause disordered charges, that means no setup move. Which is big, because then your charge is literally between 1 and 6 inches. And it's a 2d6 pick the highest, So first here you're painting a marine cape. Green cape, hold on. What ideas on stars? Oh, that was Magnus. Yeah, that was when I was painting Magnus. That was a while ago. Yeah. Love that mini. Yeah, we did the starfield on Magnus's cape on the inside of it. Incredible. Still painting the same Heresy army right now. But yeah, so roll 2d6, pick the highest instead of adding them. Yes, Cultured American, that's right. It works a bit more like the old world, how charges, because charges in the old world is you take your movement and then you roll 2d6 and add pick the highest, and you add that to your movement, and that's your charge distance. This one's a little different. It's initiative and movement. You kind of make a calculation and then you roll the dice. The setup move is important, though, because it prevents certain things, like it prevents that Overwatch and prevents enemies from making reactions. Yeah, there's a lot of decision making that goes into it. But when you have rules like the Space Wolves, where it looks like their Legion rule is they add 2 inches to the setup move, that's wild. So your tactical marines go from a 3-inch setup move to a 5-inch. That means that you have a 5-inch setup move. That means if you're within 5 inches, you just automatically charge into units. What is that tracked? Model the marine is controlling? Yeah, I think they tell you. I think it might be the lowest initiative in the unit or the highest. I can't remember which. But yeah, it tells you. So setup moves happen before Overwatch and volley fire. So if your setup move puts you into contact with the enemy, then they're not allowed to do no one does volley fires, and they can't Overwatch. That's how it prevents those reactions. Yeah, Surstroming fish. So yeah, it's nice that there's ways to shut down those reactions to prevent units from just like massacring you before you get your melee units in, right? So yeah, the charges are really crazy. But then you have like Night Lords. So Night Lords can
Look at me!
straight up just leave. Ooh, where am I looking? Whips. Okay. They can just fall back from combat. So you think you run 2d6 away from the enemy after they do their setup move. There's no way they can touch you, right? It's a get out of jail free card for the Night Lords, which is something I'm sure they really appreciate. Nice, getting the Blood Angels ready. Very nice. Man, that banner looks good. I really like the Vexilia on that Misfit. Great looking minis, dude. I like the special dude has the gold studs on his armor and everything. Yeah, fantastic looking. Great stuff. Hey guys, check out Misfit's Blood Angels that he's painting in Whips. Yeah, so more things they talk about when it comes to the trader rules. So there's the Night Lord's reaction, the World Eaters, Purgaraba's reaction. They talk about how night fighting is not a rule, at least in the current, like in the core book. There's no night fighting in the game. So they're like, Night Lords players, don't worry, we took out night fighting. Which almost seems like they're making fun of Night Lords players. But they did say that Night Lords have some kind of fear-causing mechanic, whether it's like the whole army causes fear or something. So they're going to synergize really well with weapons that cause statuses. So weapons that pin or weapons like flamers that will force panic checks on the enemy. So yeah, they're gonna really interact with all the statuses, which are crazy. Like the statuses in the game are honestly like pretty brutal because there's like the effect the status does. So one of them like stops you from moving, one of them stops you from shooting, one of them stops you from making reactions, and then one of them like does all of those but also makes you flee the battlefield. But then if you have any status, it like tanks your stats. Like you can't capture objectives, you disorder your charge so you don't get the setup move. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff like that just changes how the units work when they have statuses on them. So statuses seem like they're going to be a much bigger deal, which is cool, but could be really significant. Roulette's only good for one army, probably should go. Yeah. There were other armies that benefited from night fighting, just not quite like Night Lords did. I'm gonna close the door real quick because my wife is vacuuming. So give me 1 second. Comes home, keeps my door open, and starts running the vacuum. Terrible. Yeah, and okay, one other thing they talk about. They talk about the Saturnine Dread and Thousand Suns. So Thousand Suns, they mention that the Saturnine Dread gets the Minor Arcana, which is a really big deal. In 2.0, the Minor Arcana, it's like minor psychic powers that Thousand Suns infantry and cavalry got, so like bikers and infantry got in 2.0. But apparently at least dreadnoughts will be getting it. And they mention one of the powers, the Minor Arcana powers, and it's the Pavoni, which is the Biomancy dudes. And in 2.0, what that did was you would take the psychic check. If you passed, your unit got 3 inches to their movement in the movement phase. So your dudes would like rocket across the board. In this one, it's a reaction. So it's a psychic reaction. And what it does, it gives the unit +2 toughness. Which is pretty crazy. And they were talking about the context of the Saturnine Dread that would put it up to toughness 10. And combining with some of its other rules would mean things like las cannons and melta guns are wounding it on 6s. Yeah, +2 on a Saturnine Termi would be crazy too. Yeah. Now it's debatable if that is going to be better than, like the actual psychic reaction from telekinesis that gives a 4+ shroud, which I think is honestly way better. But obviously that won't be as much in play. 3+ shroud. It's a 3+ shroud from the reaction on your unit, which is insane. That's so strong. It's like a feel no pain, a 3+ feel no pain on the squad against the shooting attack. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that works. But yeah, so the Minor Arcana is still happening, and Dreadnoughts can take it. So silver. We're still working on this silver on these guys. Got 2 more. They do have a lot more silver. And that's all the rules that we know so far. That's it. For individual legions. I think the Liber Auxilia will be previewed tomorrow. That or Mechanicum. I don't know. I hope it's the Auxilia, because I want to see some Auxilia stuff. Okay, I need a bit more silver. And like I said, I am waiting for leaks. Leaks for the leak god. I made this soup. I used to make this soup. It was a garlic soup, which is a wild concept anyway. But it was garlic, and you put some potatoes, and it was a bunch of leeks. And you would cook this soup, and then you would blend it. Man, oh, so good. So good. That soup was incredible. And you'd serve it. I'd make it with like homemade croutons. Yeah, it's fantastic. It was like a favorite of ours, and now the wife can't eat garlic, so. I mean, I could make a potato and leek soup with no garlic, but that sounds not nearly as good. Braid of garlic on her front door to ward evil spirits? Dang, yeah. Did it work? It's 92? I think it did. Nice, yeah. Gold next. I don't know if I want to do black or white accents on the rapiers. The soldiers will get white accents, partially because these soldiers, you can actually make a squad out of them on their own. It's called a commanding control squad. So it's some kind of command squad that just adds like logistical benefits, which sounds awesome to me. It's my kind of command squad. Oh, there's another thing that that Legion Tactica or Journal Tactica or whatever, that book, they showed the table of contents, and there's a couple new units coming. So one of them is that Command and Control Squad that they talked about before, but the other one is a Special Centurion console called the Master of Dissent. Not Desert, not Master of Decency, or like Dissent, like not DISS Dissent, but DESCENTS Dissent. So people looked up who the Master of Dissent was, if it was mentioned before. It's a Thunderhawk dude. It's a guy that's normally stationed in a Thunderhawk, and he's the one that controls the orbital landings. Sound the good 90s PC game? Yeah. It's a really popular board game too. I don't know if it's as popular anymore, but it was like a 1v4 like dungeon crawl board game. But yeah, does a Master of Dissent mean that that Thunderhawks are gonna be popular? Possible? Where's my plastic big Thunderhawk? Yeah, I wonder if he would affect drop pods too. Yeah, he might affect drop pods. Which is probably the more realistic option, but they talk about him like Heresy 1.0, and he's like the guy. He's like, yeah, he controls like orbital landings and like the Thunderhawks basically. Like that's his job. Yeah, he might be the guy that like allows you to do like a drop pod assault army or something. Some of this little You gonna paint a Thunderhawk for it then? I absolutely would. I would love to paint a Thunderhawk. My little tweezers here. I have these like little strands, probably from like plastic glue. Me trying to hurry on these minis. Any more on you? You have any more problems? No? Okay. That right there. Would splurge on a plastic Thunderhawk. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the plastic Thunderhawk would be a thing to have. I would never play anything but Apocalypse level battles at that point. Speaking of, I wish, or I hope, that there's a journal tactica that comes out for Apocalypse battles. Like how to play like large scale Heresy battles. That would be awesome. Yeah, a journal coming out every couple months. I think there's a lot of possibility. It also sounds like that they're planning on this being an edition that lasts more than 3 years. I hate to say that too early, but it sounds like this one might stick around a little longer. And if it doesn't, then at that point I'll be pretty upset, just because I don't want 3-year cycles. Yeah, 2.0 was a stopgap. They didn't even proofread the edition. It was crazy. It was like a rough draft. The one of the big things people talk about when it comes to that was the Mechanicum book. And we know who was the specific guy who wrote the Mechanicum rulebook. And the guy, like right before the Mechanicum rulebook released, their Liber or whatever, the guy was talking on Twitter about it, and he's like, yeah, don't worry guys, he's like, man, he's like, this book is like borderline overpowered, like it's really good, Mechanicum fans are gonna be really happy. And he was going on and on about it and all this stuff. And that book comes out and it's awful. Like, Mechanicum are so bad in the current rules. And people just flame that guy. Yeah, and it's not that the rules... It's not just because the rules are bad. Because, like, Solar Aux rules are bad, too, but nobody, like, went after the writer for that rule book. It was the fact that this guy was there, like, bragging about how good their rules are and how well written it is and all this stuff, and they ended up being garbage. Yeah, Knights are worse than Dreadnoughts, yeah. Wouldn't bet on a new edition not coming out in 2028. Yeah, definitely not something I'm putting money against. But my big overall hope for all of this, if they throw Heresy into the cycle, and maybe the Old World, because the Old World is apparently doing very well. If they put these in a cycle, that they make it a 4-year cycle for every game. I think that overall would be a lot healthier. They're not like constantly just trying to shove out, a new army book for 2 factions every 2 weeks because they have to like get them all out before the end of an edition. They can have some breathing room, or even if that goes to a 5-year cycle, and like that 5th year is like new edition for some other game. I don't want to say Middle Earth because I never want a new edition for Middle Earth. That game was perfect way back when. I don't like that they keep changing it, but you get like a big new kill team or big new Necromunda launch or something like that. Some other new game, Legions Imperialis or something gets their day in the sun one summer. That would be my hope, but I think 40k makes too much money. Big game release when they don't have 40k RS. Yeah, exactly. So if you have big games, like I said, Old World and Heresy are both doing way better than I think they planned. I think that would be... Those could make up summer launches. But, I mean, as of right now, 11th edition is supposed to come out next year for 40k. So, they're not changing their 3-year cycle with that. Which is crazy to me. Like, all these games, there's always so much that they have left open, like a few months out from an edition launch. And they just go with it. I have no idea how Legions Imperialis is doing because I never hear anyone talking about it. It's relatively dead in my area. There's like 2 people I know that paint stuff. I don't know if they game, though, but they also play a lot of other games like Big Heresy. And so they're all just playing that right now. Yeah, I don't think Legions Imperialis did as well as they thought it would. People give a lot of hype for epic scale stuff and talk about like how everyone would die to have it, but then, they charge $60 for 5 drop pods when you need 10 drop pods to make it legal or whatever. Like, it's crazy expensive. A lot of people in your area play. Oh, that's good to know. Hey, Star Laser. Yeah, 40k has been a bit disappointing. Yeah. Not as disappointing as that Underworlds team that they showed off yesterday. Ooh. Those are bad. You just want to play Titans and they're bad. Yeah, this way you just play Titanicus, right? If you want to play Titans. Just skip all the other stuff. I don't know anything about the balance on Imperialis, though. I haven't followed the game that much. I follow it for the hopes that everything in plastic for that game comes out for a big Heresy. Sell them for $40. Yeah, it just seems excessive. You know, and I always kind of figured if I got an Imperialis, it would be like a 3D print game for me. Because 3D print files are really easy to come by for those, and it's, oh man, it's you can just print like whole like demi companies with like a small print bread, like one print, and it takes like 2 hours. It's crazy like how easy it is to print for that game. And the minis for Legions Imperialis are still like they're still like the tanks are like a dozen pieces each, which is crazy to me. That seems excessive. Typhon? Didn't realize this kill team box set was single player mode. Oh yeah, I've heard about that. That's cool. There's another little string. It's moving too fast on these minis. Yeah, no Xenos kind of hurts too. Especially when they took out the air combat game, right? Aeronautica Imperialis or whatever it was. That had like Eldar flyers and stuff. Yeah, I think what happened with Legions Imperialis, the reason it's Heresy is kind of twofold. One is it's way cheaper to sell. You don't need the amount of SKUs, right? You don't have to sell multiple sets for every Xenos faction, plus, you know, Space Marines, which would probably have to be Primaris if it's 40k, and then you have to do Chaos Marines and all that stuff. You sell one Marine box and you cover 18 factions. It's that easy.
I believe every day's a good day when you paint. I believe it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart.
Hey, what's up, Serantis? How you doing? Welcome in. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, everybody. We're just chatting Heresy stuff in Games Workshop while I paint these new Heresy minis. I'm like sweating. It's really warm in this room. I know if I open a window, it's going to be worse, though, so... Too bad. Yeah, it has 3 factions. 3 factions in Imperialis. Yeah, we're talking about Imperialis. How's your stream, Serantis? Well, man, what were we doing? See you. The other issue, so that's probably the biggest issue with doing 40k epic at this day and age. The other issue is it's a specialist game. And it looks like the Specialist Studio doesn't really do... I don't know if Specialist Studio does Kill Team, but it doesn't seem like they do 40k stuff. Like, they kind of have control over Heresy, and so that's what they're moving into. Yeah, I see Imperial... Like, the concept of Imperialis is perfect for me. Like, large-scale battles, throwing whole companies into the fight at a time. Like, it's amazing, but the hype died down when that game got delayed, and then the price point for that game is absurd. You can collect Big Heresy cheaper than an Imperialis, like a normal-sized army. Yeah, the rules are very different. Yeah, because it's like alternate activation in a way, or it is alternate activation, right? So it's cool. It's much more similar to like Middle Earth, but just on a huge scale. I watched a couple battles of it. I've watched some people play. Yeah, it looks like that game is so far on the back burner at this point. Hey, Hobby ADHD, welcome in. How you doing? Keep it up. I think with these painted minis, I think the last of my display shelf space will be taken up. It's been a lot of family time and work balance lately. Yeah, I understand. I mean, you got a lot going on too, and with a baby at home, that's a time commitment. It's understandable. You're cheaper in Legions to play with Titans than with infantry units, which is wild because those Titans are crazy expensive minis. I wanted to buy a Reaver Titan just to have, because Reaver Titans are my favorite Titans. I was like, man, it'd be fun just to have one of these, so I'll get the little one. It was like $60. I was like, nah. More Salamanders and Iron Hands, yeah. My son has been painting his Salamanders. He finished the squad. He just has the Sergeant to finish, which has been a bit of a struggle point for him because he wanted the horsehair crest, and he's wanting to do like the 50-50 on the horsehair crest, and it's given him trouble. So we are taking our time and learning it and doing all that. But I can show it to you guys. Sergeant's still down here, isn't he? Yeah, he is. His minis look good though. You know, it's an 8-year-old painting Heresy minis, and it's and I think he's doing great, especially for 8 years old. Identity Crisis need to be either a model company or a game company and stop trying to be both. Yeah, I mean, the games sell the models, right? They wouldn't sell anywhere near as many models if they didn't have games to go with them. Because people buy the minis to play the games. That's what I do. So most people do. And that's why they can charge as much, because it's not just something you're going to put on a shelf. If it was just something you're going to put on a shelf, no one's going to pay that kind of money for models that, you know, of that quality, even though they're really high quality. Like, you don't do that for just display models that you paint yourself. But when they have rules that go with them, and you know, and the expectation to have armies made out of, you know, just from this company and things like that, like that's where they can, you know, charge the amount they do. Yeah, let me pull out this Sergeant here. I also wouldn't buy 30 or 40 this exactly. Yeah, no one's buying tons of minis. Yeah. All right. So his Sergeant, like I said, he's struggling with the crest right now. But this is his Sergeant. This is 100% my son's brushwork. Okay, he's 8 years old. He's working on these. Washes, dry brushes. He's doing detail. He did a really good job on the eyes. Look at those eyes. Yep. So yeah, he even did the symbol, which is a print, so it's, you know, it's raised and everything to help him out, but he did these symbols, which was great. But yeah, he's got his first salamanders. He loved the plasma. The plasma effect is really good. That Talisar blue over white. Yeah, like I said, we were struggling a lot with the crest. So he was trying, you know, I was trying to teach him kind of what you do and like what it is. And I think he was kind of struggling with the concept of it a little bit and like how to paint it to make it even. But then it's, you know, it's a lot of like holding his brush properly and you know, getting the right angles on things. But yeah, first Salamander Sergeant. It's looking good so far. So, and the rest of his squad is done. It's just these minis minus the crest basically, and they have bolters and stuff. So he loves them. He is all about them. And I'm gonna print him some more soon. And I'm sure he'll be back at it painting real soon. If you would Jervis back in the day, we left pretty much everything around plastic models and produced as cell miniatures. Yeah, yep. Oh yeah, of course. Jervis Johnson was also the guy that said, I think it was like a shareholders meeting, where he said that they sell more at the time. They were selling more tactical Marine box sets. So specifically, the tactical Marine box set. They sold more of those than the entire Warhammer Fantasy range. So the dozens and dozens of sets that they sold from Warhammer Fantasy didn't match the raw number of tactical Marine squads they sold. And he was like, he's like, it's dumbfounding. He's like, I can't explain how popular this one box set is. He's like, it almost feels like we're a front for drugs. Like, just selling these numbers doesn't sound right. It's good though. I showed her how to paint past 15 years. Yeah, okay. Well, thanks, Hobby HD. I appreciate it, man. I will tell him I showed stream and you guys had nice things to say about his minis. Yeah, he was. Yesterday we were painting, and he was working on a sergeant. He was getting real frustrated, so we kind of had to have a little talk about how first time doing the new technique, and it's tough, and you're gonna fail, and it's not gonna look exactly how you want the first couple times, but you learn, and that's the whole thing with this is, I told him I've been painting almost 25 years, and there's still plenty of things I paint and it doesn't look like I want it to, but sometimes I just had to struggle through and try something new and do it, and you have to fail at it a couple times, and then it'll start to click, and you'll start to get it, and and you'll start to be happy with it, and it'll get easier and easier, and it'll look better and better. So told him you can make as many corrections and repaints on this one as you want, but when you're done with it, we'll be done with it, and we'll keep it. And your next sergeant, you'll paint, and I'm sure it'll look a little better. And we'll compare it to the first one, and we'll see if you made improvements, and we'll keep doing that. Like a year from now, or or 6 months, a year, 2 years from now, we'll look back and we'll see how much you've improved. Malediction. You buy the rules to your faction, they provide the STLs. That's really cool, Culture American. Yeah, 3D printing's really changed the game when it comes to all that. Alright, we got our silver on these minis, guys. Look at the little adorable tanks. If you haven't seen them, look at them. They're tiny little adorable tanks. I magnetized mine, so they're empty, but incredible. Excuse me. Let's get some gold out. AOS came. I was working at GW as a store rep. Many people don't understand how little it was selling. Yeah, fantasy. Yeah, the paint sold more than the whole range of fantasy. Yeah. Yeah, I also heard the community around Warhammer Fantasy was fairly toxic overall. To learn is failure. Yeah, and the way to... Yeah, yep. Exactly. Yeah, we have that conversation a lot when it comes to this. So this past spring, he played soccer, and this is his 4th or 5th year playing soccer, or season playing soccer. But he played in a league that was older than him. Like, he moved up a league, but he wasn't, like, necessarily the age to move up a league. So he wanted to because his coach moved up a league. And we wanted to stay with the coach. Great. Fantastic. It's what he wanted to do. But we had to have a couple talks about, like, he was doing pretty good as far as, for, like, his age group. He was getting up there in age, and, like, he was scoring goals, and he was doing really good. And I said, man, like, you're playing with kids older. You're playing with 10 to 12-year-old kids, and you're 8 years old. All right, I was like, you're gonna have to learn that this isn't gonna be as easy as it was your last season, and yeah, what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to take from this, like, learn how to be better, because when you're playing against kids that are way better than you and way older than you, you're going to learn a lot quicker than you would when you're just winning all the time. So, myself that every time I play Warhammer, yeah, and like you still learn from winning, but I think losing probably teaches more valuable lessons. But, it's probably not super healthy to lose every time. If you're losing all the time, you have to actually, learn from it and be able to improve. In the stores to help with crests like that. Little bands of tape. Yeah, using some tape on the mini would be a good idea. Yeah. I might have to do that next time. Yeah, maybe I'll get out the... I have a little Tamiya tape. A little thin tape. I've lost so much Armada, yeah. So we used to tell people in our Armada group, you had to lose 25 games, you could start figuring out the game. It's not even the game is like particularly rules heavy, it's just tough to figure out. Yeah, you gotta have fun while doing it. Yeah, he had a blast playing soccer too, so it was good. It worked out well. He had a fun team. His team was really good, and his team was a bunch of 8-year-olds and a 7-year-old, honestly, playing against 10 and 12-year-olds, and they made it to the championship. And they lost pretty bad in the championship, but they had some players that were sick during that game, and just all this other stuff was going on. It was kind of a weird game anyway, but yeah. Reached about 20 games now. You got this, Raja. You'll get it. Almost at the point of understanding. It's like the South Park, They defeat the guy in Warcraft, and they're like, what do we do now? Now we play the game. Hit a 4th and 1 tournament. Yeah, there you go. That's awesome. Submarining is the way to go. When it work and doesn't work can be done, both victory and losses. Yeah, I think you learn more when you lose. If you're trying to learn. Right? If you just lose and you just, whine about it the whole time, which is a story I got here for you guys from Sunday. Yeah, you gotta be constructive about it. Yeah. He's still excited to paint, so he's excited for his next squad. I told him I'd paint him or print him a flamethrower squad, so we'll do that. Yeah, so okay, Sunday. We gotta talk about my Sunday. I went to a Heresy event. It's for a league. It's a narrative league, like an escalation league. And it's been fun. How it's working is it's not just scheduling games with opponents and playing every couple weeks. They made it to where it's like a hobby league. So you're doing hobby stuff, and then like once a month we're meeting and playing a couple games for a day. And so you have time to build up, and then there's like one big day of games. We can all be together and like we can help newer people with the rules and stuff. There has been some weird drama about this league already, but it's been fun. I've been playing Militia, and this past round that me and Zen played in together was a doubles game, or doubles round basically. So you pair up with someone, and then you end up playing games, 2 1,500 point lists, and you play against other pairs. So doing 3,000 point games, but it's just multiple people. Excuse me. So yeah, Zen had his Night Lords. I had my Militia. 1,500 points. He took a whole bunch of Assault Marines. He took some Tactical Squads and Rhinos and a Dreadnought. And that was essentially... Oh, and he took Contakar. Big squad of Night Lords, like Special Terminators. Which they got bullied so hard in both of our games. Just two rounds that we played. I took Militia. I had 80 Infantry, a Command Squad, 4 Sentinels with autocannons, and 6 Lehman Russ tanks, which I used the Walkers. Excuse me. So I got to bust out the Walkers that I painted during the 12-hour stream. Yeah, just casual 80 infantry. Yeah, 4 squads of 20. And yeah, that was 1,500 points on my end. It was 80 infantry, 4 sentinels, a command squad, and and 6 Lehman Russ tanks. 2 of them had Demolisher cannons, 2 of them had Vanquisher cannons, and 2 of them had Plasma Executioners. So big, large blast plasma cannons. Yeah, good stuff. They yeah, same model count. It really is. It really is, Gosu. It's crazy how true that statement is. My turns are not taking that long. Our first game, so how it worked, our first game was on it was on like a crazy terrain dense, like ruin filled board. So it was just like narrow streets, no direct line of sight through the board. We deployed short table edges, so it was like a deep board, but there was no way to look across the board. And we played as buildings blocked line of sight. So like the ruined areas, you couldn't see through them. You could see in and out of them, but you couldn't see through them. Kind of like 40k. And then what happened was one player deployed their army on each team. The other player put everything in reserve, and they would come in on the side of the board. So you pick a side of the board, and they would come in on the side. So, I deployed, and Zen came in on the side of the board. It would have been funny if we changed that up where I was the reserve guy, and he came in. That would have been really funny. But I would deploy with all my units. I'd sit on objectives. I would run forward, and my tanks would run forward. And then... he'd jump in on the side and just basically ambush people and try to take out the enemy's back line. That was our plan. So, first team we played was against a White Scars player. It was White Scars and Ultramarines. The Ultramarine player hadn't played much. He's a really good painter, but he hadn't played much 2.0. He said he played a lot of 1.0, but he didn't play much 2.0. So, getting in a league right before 3.0 comes out, it's funny that, just now getting into the rules. The other guy plays quite a bit, and he had a completely 100% unpainted army. So that was something for the hobby league, just jumping in with no painting. I don't think maybe necessarily he was part of the league. I think he was just showing up to play, and we were all kind of cool with it. But yeah, I just didn't. Yes, you had to roll for reserves. They made a rule where half of the army you put in reserves come in on turn 3 no matter what. You could still roll for them on turn 2, but then everybody else you rolled no matter what. But I don't think anybody had a problem getting things on the board by turn 3. But yeah, so the Ultramarines player deployed on their side. He had a lot of close range stuff, and then he had a Macarius tank with a Vanquisher cannon, and then the White Scars player had a bunch of jet bikes and outriders and stuff. We seen lost the we were talking about the Legion rules a little bit ago. We were going over them. It looks really cool. We had a nice long talk about these rules. So I don't know what else to paying gold here. Let's figure it out. These things probably should have been gold, and those should be gray. I think I messed that up. I usually do gold on these, so let's paint these gold. So yeah, we had night fighting first turn. Essentially due to like line of sight and everything, like almost nothing happened first turn. I think the one thing that did happen was I destroyed the Vanquisher cannon on his Macarius. And that was turn 1. And I think he caused a wound to a sentinel. And that was it. So yeah, that was turn 1. Turn 2, the White Scars player entire army came on. So that was that was really rough. And he came on the side of the board, and he came in to charge things. I think he destroyed a Lehman Russ, and I think that was it. I don't think he did anything else. I think he destroyed or immobilized one Lehman Russ with like a dreadnought that came on the board. So it's pretty anemic. Our turn 2, some of Zen's stuff came on. A lot of it didn't. He had a deep strike. He had a big deep strike contingent that didn't come on either. They failed their roll, which really stunk. So just kind of me and a couple of his units. But he came in, he killed some bikes. I killed a bunch of jet bikes. And that was about it. I think I plinked off more hull points off the turretless Macarius or whatever. So yeah, that was about it. Their turn 3. He tried to charge a squad. I think he charged my Sentinels or something. Those Sentinels, they were my MVP. The Sentinels of anything. They took so much firepower and didn't die. I did not expect it. They were so tanky. I feel like they would die to a stiff breeze, but they just kept putting, like, they would try to put these like big tank shots or like, you know, more than what it should take to kill them, and then they just wouldn't. The things wouldn't die. It was pretty great. But yeah, he would charge him and then do like a hit and run thing and like run completely away, because the way hit and run works in 2.0, like you get your movement plus 2d6 and jet bikes move 16 inches, so he would just jump away like 25 inches. It was pretty crazy. So yeah, he was going all over the board. Turn 3 was at the point turn 3 came around, it was kind of like a feels bad moment. And I wasn't gonna like complain about it. I'll tell you guys about it, complain to you guys about it. But yeah, I have the ATTE minis for my tanks, my Leman Russes, and my Sentinels are just like old school Guard Sentinels, which look a little more like ATSTs. I've never played White Scars, and I made that clear. I'd never played against White Scars or Ultramarines actually, so I wasn't too familiar with their rules or like specifics of their rules. Well, he had his like Outrider unit with a Librarian, and then he had his Warlord on a jet bike sitting on this street. And I had clear line of sight with my Leman Russ Vanquishers. My Sentinels could see him. I had units with lasguns that could see him. And I was like, you know what? Like, I have a unit with lasguns. I'm going to shift him up a little bit to get like rapid fire range. And the guy was like, haha, my advanced reaction. I was like, oh, cool, what does your advanced reaction do? So he got every squad within 12 inches of the squad when they finish moving, of your unit when they finish moving, gets to move like away. Like, just get like a full movement away from everything. And I was like, oh, okay, that changes things, you know. My thought being, normally when you spring a rule on someone, especially as game-changing as that, it's a point of like, this is my rule. Are you sure you want to make that super minor move that changes the whole game? You know, like, and, you know, do you want to like take it back? Like, you know, we do that a lot. Like, you know, if this is going to be a problem because like this changes your whole strategy, like you obviously would not have moved that squad if you knew this advanced reaction was going to trigger. Like, that's the way you play. But this guy was like, you know, oh, here's my rule, I'm gonna do it so long, like, see ya, sucker, like, there go my units, they're all out of like line of sight. And he just did that. Yeah, it was total gotcha. I didn't complain about it, whatever. Like, you know, we play these games like to have fun, and for me it's not fun to spring things on people like that. Like, you tell them like, hey, oh, I remembered my reaction. Here's what my reaction does. Do you want to change what you're doing now that you understand the reaction? Nope, he did it. He did his reaction. It was kind of like whatever. Yeah, so we continue playing. It was, you know, it's fine, whatever. Later on in the game, him and his opponent, they move to shoot, like, to get some shots on one of Zen's assault squads, who was on one side of a building. And they move up, and he kind of moved like some minis around the corner of the building, some of his like bikers, his outriders or whatever, and a dreadnought to the edge of the building. And they start shooting him. And we're like, well, hold on, wait a minute. Like, we're on the other side of the building. and the rules, and that we have been playing for 3 previous turns now, where you can't see through the building. That's what the rules packet said. Those are the rules that we have. Well, both of them, especially the White Scars player, starts throwing a fit. He's like, well, that changes everything I'm doing. Well, okay, I'm sorry, like, that's like, we've been playing these rules this whole time, like, that's what we're doing, right? And they both start like getting really upset about it. So we just decide, like, okay, you know what? It's fine. Take your shots. I don't think it's going to change anything in the game anyway. You guys take your shots. So they took their shots, and they did their take backsies and everything, and took their shots, and it was fine. Whatever. So I wasn't too thrilled with this particular player. It seemed like he was getting way too serious and pent up about the game. So I wasn't just gonna make it worse. Well, later on, I think it was the very next turn. That same little assault squad, it was like 2 minis at this point. Zen did move in the movement phase. We were moving. He wasn't like leaning over. Yeah, I'm talking about our first game from the other day. Yeah, the dude kept putting his minis around the edge of the table, and they kept getting knocked over. It was a whole thing. But yeah, just in time. So we didn't move the assault squad, and it comes to like the shooting phase, or like toward the end of our shooting phase. Yeah, okay, yeah. Zen has a belly, right? And he was leaning over the table, and he was knocking this guy's minis over. And the guy would like set them right on the edge of the table, right where Zen was like standing. It was wild. But we didn't move the squad. We were doing other stuff, and then it was like into the shooting phase. We're like, you know what? Like, hey, do you mind if we move this squad, because we forgot to move it? Can we move this squad and like get them into a better spot to charge or something? And both of them were like, nope, it's way too late for that. And we were just like, okay, fine. Like, that's like, whatever. Like, we gave them like all these, like all the benefit with how they were playing, and there was like no courtesy returned. And that game dragged on forever too. We went like an hour over, or half hour, 45 minutes over like the final time and everything. Yeah, so I gotta, it's a string here. So not a very enjoyable game. What I did learn about that player, I was told later that there's another store that runs a lot of Heresy events and tournaments, and this particular guy is not allowed to play in their tournaments because he's way too competitive. And I didn't know that before, but I was like, "Ooh, yeah, I could see it." He shows up with this. Yeah, he's not allowed. Yeah, he's way too competitive. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. So not a very fun game, and I was like, man, this sucks. Like, I'm spending my whole day here, and I kind of just want to go home and like chill with my kid, and paint minis and everything. But that guy, he also left after the first round. Yeah, he left after the first round. He's like, oh, I gotta go eat dinner at my grandma's. She's making me dinner, so I gotta go. So he left his partner like high and dry after round 1-2, which was also pretty crummy. Oh, by the way, we ended up winning that game, so we won on objective points. He accidentally stepped. Yeah, Zen stepped on one of his minis, dude. Oh no. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he said he had to go eat dinner, and then he orders Taco Bell from Uber Eats or whatever, and sits there and eats it. So he had to go eat at his grandma's house, but apparently she can't cook or whatever. Yeah. Zen, Zen was the real villain this whole time. Crucial. The rest of the game group is amazing. There's that guy, and there's that one Iron Hands player I played against that was horrible, but everybody hates that guy too. So, I know his name now and his Discord handle, so I know how to avoid him. Yeah, Meemaw's custom Taco Bell. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah. Um. All right. So whatever. That dude ate his Taco Bell and then left to his grandma's to eat dinner. It was whatever. So we played our second game, and it was against people I'd played against before, and two awesome, hilarious, like great people. We played. I think everybody was so tired after that first round. Everybody was like weirdly like slap happy, right? Right, Zen. Like it just felt like everybody just was just like kind of screwing around the whole game. Um, it was hilarious and it was a blast. Me and Zen were getting dumpstered. Um, our army was getting slaughtered by theirs. Like Zen. Okay, I didn't tell you guys the first battle. Zen's army deep struck, and they were disordered. So the enemy put his units like on the other side of the board, and his Contakar got to do minimal things. His like 400 point unit of Contakar or whatever. Second game, he deep struck, and they were disordered. Or no, the drop was disordered, and like they got to place his squad again. We're like, what's this deep strike? Just completely failed. And then they came on the board and they slaughtered his Contakar. They pinned him, and then they just shot him to death and like charged him and killed. It was crazy, like how fast they died. So like his Contakar did nothing in both games. I think they blew up a Rhino. I think that's about the most they did. So they died. All of my tanks died like the second turn of the game. In the second game, it was rough. It was really rough. We were like, well, this game is done. Like, we're done. We lost. We'll take the L. Well, the thing was, I had all my militia on objectives. I was holding a bunch of objectives and they weren't. So we just sat there and gathered points while they ignored my militia infantry squads. And my little militia were knocking out random tactical marines, every turn, just like taking out a couple tacticals and taking out units. And at one point I had my sentinel shot at a breacher squad and killed like 6 of them with one 8-shot volley from the 4 sentinels. It was crazy. Militia put in work that game. Zen's dreadnought took out 2 Thanatars in 2 consecutive combat, just like one shot the things basically in melee, and like completely trashed their back line, which was wild that dreadnought took so much to kill. And yeah, by the end of the game, just a one, the dreadnought just went in there and he was asking for help, because she was back there like killing stuff in the back line, and he's just like, he's like, I need something here. No, we were having a ton of fun though. We were laughing, we were just joking around the whole time and goofing around. There were only 2 tables playing, so it was like eight people, and then there was like the guy was like the TO. And every single person was just sitting around their table. Like none of us were like getting up. We're just like, I can't see it from where I sit right here, so it doesn't exist. And I think that's the reason why we won the second game, because the Emperor's Children player just didn't see my squad holding an objective next to their dreadnought, and so they're like, I'm not going to charge them on the last turn. And like that was pretty much it. Like that's how we won that game. We won it by 1 victory point because they tried to like long shot one of the squads. Yeah, they're all just like cowering under the rubble in this, and we were on the same board too. So there was kind of a weird thing where we had players, but there was no way to get players that like someone had to repeat the board that they were playing on. So me and Zen decided just to repeat the same board and went with it, and it was fine. We had fun with it. I wonder what's happening in the rest of the war. Yeah, they're just like eating their dinner. Yeah, Zen's deep strikes completely failed both games though. It's really funny. That should have like carried it. Should have been like an easy tabling of the mech player. Dude, yeah, they're eating grandma's talk. Yeah, they're Uber Eats it. Yeah, they're Uber eating it. Like, oh man, I really gotta go. I got somewhere to be, and then they're just like door dashing Taco Bell. Yeah, what's up, Sector X? How you doing, man? Yeah. So those are two games. The second one was a blast. First one was a slog, and kind of like a feels bad game. Um, Definitely one of my less favorite games of Heresy I've played. However, it was fun playing on Zen's team. At points, didn't quite feel like the scenario we were playing. It didn't quite feel like we were playing on a team. It was more just like separate games going on. Because the first two turns of the game was basically just me, and then he comes on the board and like he's on different parts of the board and everything, and so it was a little I don't know, separated in that way. It was fun. It was fun. We owned. That was good. I also learned something fun about the doubles tournament I went to and won with my Thousand Sons a couple months ago. I heard, it's like, rumors and hearsay, but I heard people were complaining that my partner and my partner's army were overpowered. That we took like OP stuff and OP lists to win a tournament. And I thought that was really funny because I brought Thousand Sons, who are like notoriously one of the weakest legions in 2.0, and my partner took Solar Auxilia, who are literally the worst faction. Yeah, yeah. And we played against a full deep strike army that the TO brought, which is like, man, it's that's a whole thing too, but the TO's army was salamanders with like the 3+ invuln terminators and a Primus Medicae, so they get feel no pain, and a Charybdis that lets them assault out of deep strike. Like, he took that squad, and then his opponent was Day of Revelation Blood Angels that pick their turn with the deep strike and they don't scatter or anything. And we beat them. Yeah. The assault out of deep strike guaranteed like no fail deep strike, feel no pain Terminator Death Star with the best invuln in the game. No, because no one told us that when we were there. It's people talking about it afterwards. It's very much like a sore loser thing, right? And someone apparently complained that we had, because me and my partner, our army, so a year ago, before this tournament happened, when the Solar Auxilia minis came out, the guy messaged me and he's like, hey, I want to make my army Prospering Spire Guard. He's like, can you help me come up with a color scheme, and like, can we like share basing and stuff so we can have these armies like as like share a theme, and then if there's ever an event, like, we could be partners with it. I was like, that sounds awesome. Let's do that. And so we literally had the only actual coordinating themed army out of everybody. And it just so happens that there's a Legion Auxilia rule that coincides with Thousand Sons. It's not like a broken rule. It's just, if I suffer a perils, I can throw that perils onto an auxiliary unit that's close. Like, that's it. They eat a perils for me. Just a couple wounds. It's not like game changing. It's fun and thematic, but they were complaining that we took armies that have rules that interact with each other. So, that was OP. Which is also funny because they're literally painted to go with each other, including the basing on the minis. They're all based the same. So yeah. So broken Solar Ox armies and Thousand Sons. Oh yeah, it was cool. All right. What are we doing with this? I'll start with white. We'll start with our white. This one's effectively using the rules to win. Yeah. You know, and you know, it's funny because, like, it's a narrative event. Okay, they call it a narrative event. And then they have literally hundreds of dollars in prize support. I didn't know they had prize support. They said there was going to be prize support, and I'm like, yeah, cool, a $20 gift card if you win. All right, that's fun. I'm going to take my army I've been painting for the past 2 years. I'm going to take my coolest looking minis. I took stuff like power armored command squads that aren't good. I took my overpriced dreadnought. I was taking you know, like things like that. We both took a jet because we have jets, and we're like, man, it'd be cool to have like a little like air force kind of thing. So we took our jets, which sure that could be overpowered, but they they called it a narrative event. The TO, the guy that ran it, showed up with that Salamander's army, and they ended up winning best loyalist army. Like they got the award for the best winning record, which is funny because the best loyalists went 2-1 because we beat them. But they ended up winning a bunch of prizes, which to me sounds worse that the TO of the tournament wins $100 box set of minis than like anybody bringing, you know, like something to a tournament, especially with the fact that, like, being the TO, like, we sent him our list a week ahead of time, you know, like, the guy seemed nice enough. I'm not like accusing the guy of it. Yeah, the TO shouldn't win anything. Like, the store should give the TO something for running a tournament. That's what should happen. The TO should not be taking prize support from players. Yeah, and that was pretty wild to me when they were announcing the winners, and he's like, yeah, and the best loyalist goes to this team, which was me. Ooh, looks like I get to pick out a free Heresy box that I want, and yeah. So, I had a ton of fun playing, though. All my opponents are super cool. You know, people want to look at my army and call it OP when I'm playing Thousand Suns, that's fine. Yes, the tournament price was like, it was like $35 to get into per person. So it was $70 a team to sign up for the tournament, which to me was excessive. And I was like, you know, I'm doing this once because it was always like me, my partner was like, it was like our dream to run these two armies together. So we're going to do it. But it's like, I have no idea, like, if there's prize support when I signed up. I don't know, like, what it's going to be. But I'll do this once to play, and that'll be fine. Turns out they had really good prize support, which was they literally set out a table of box sets, and they're like, okay, the team that won, each of you pick a box set. Like, you get the first box set pick. And so I picked out, like, the Sakaar Inventor, which is like a $90-$100 mini. And then I got Best Painted Army. With my Best Painted Army, they gave me a Pro Acryl base set, which is like a $100 set of paints. You know, so I got that. You know, like I came out ahead financially, but I'm like, what about these teams that got nothing when I'm walking away with $200 worth of stuff? Like, I think that was a bit too much of like a skew. As far as like prize support goes, like it's too much for too few people. Especially when you're doing, again, a narrative event. And I don't know if the TO paid in. I would assume he paid his own submission to play. Again, the guy was nothing but cordial. He was nice. You know, all that, but what's up?
Can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
Wanting to know if Painting Sun can go watch the new Jurassic Dominion.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
You asked me. So
Oh yeah,
I
the Jurassic World Rebirth or whatever. Dominion. No, that's one we've already seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay.
The new one, yeah, because it just came out today, tomorrow.
I have no idea.
Okay.
She's asking me.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure, you can go see it.
Just want to check with you, make sure it's okay with you.
All right.
Okay.
It's like Painting Son found something fun he can do with his grandma. So yeah, I'm not salty. What happens when you take me with you, TPS? Movie looks intriguing. Yeah, I'm curious about it. The director of the movie is Gareth Edwards, which gives me hope that it'll be decent, because Gareth Edwards is the director of Rogue One, which is the best Star Wars movie. So it is. Yeah, it's either gonna be dope or a big ball of garbage. Yeah, run some errands. All right, Ghost, you have a good one, man. No, there's nothing to start, man. Nothing at all to start. Hey, Mechius Tech, welcome. Welcome in. Yeah. Overall, Sunday ended up being fun. It was kind of a slog in the beginning. It was alright. How goes? Yeah, it's going well. Going well. Except Culture American's trying to argue stuff. Apparently the most forgettable movie he can't shut up about, so... You argue with me every time I bring this up that it's the most forgettable movie. It's like someone says Star Wars in the
First
back
of all,
and you just start
let me
like
take just a
fuming
moment
and
to
like
thank
you're
you
like,
for allowing me
oh,
back
Rogue
into your
One.
home.
You're just like clenching your fist about it. Hey, the boss, welcome in. How you doing? Yeah, Rogue One is solid. Yeah. Can't have an opinion if I never watch him. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, we gotta find time. We try and plan that. I'll give it another shot. I guess Heresy all time. Oh man, I was reading some people that have like Thousand Suns armies. Like, I got 30,000 points. I was like, no, need to beat that. So what's going on, Killer Cam? How you doing? Custom Sons of Horus. Okay, that's cool. How are they custom specifically? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing that's different with them? Yeah, I do have. Yeah. Well, it's not the print time that slows me down. It's the paint time and actually having to live. Like those kinds of things. We'll see me in the news. Local hermit wasted his life building the world's largest miniature collection. Yeah. I can see the news article now. A stealth company. Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, that sounds cool. All right. Yeah, I mean it's fair. Yeah. You'll paint some Thousand Suns for me. I appreciate that. You know, I have learned over the years that I picked an army that takes way too long to paint. I painted some of my son's salamanders. Like, I'm just gonna test this color scheme out, and I painted like 2 Marines in under an hour with dry time and everything. And I was like, man, what did I do? What did I do to myself? I haven't tried siege mode yet. No, I was so busy yesterday and like this weekend. It's just been like I haven't had time to just like sit down and try the stuff out. Try to do this here. Tape. I'm gonna try to do my own straight line. Yeah, no. Blue, I think your pile of shame is bigger than mine, so you should probably get on that. Fairly straight line. It's pretty decent. And correct that a little later. Start Horse Heresy, but don't have a single idea where to start. Can someone help me? Buy the new set. If depending on what you want, I will say 3.0 comes out at the end of this month. So if you want to go like super budget, the cheapest option will be to buy the new Saturnine box set when it comes out on July 26th or whatever. If you're fine to buy a separate rulebook, like a new 3.0 rulebook, I would, and you like the minis, like the Mark 6 armor and stuff. The Marks of armor don't have any gameplay difference. It's just purely cosmetic. Find an Age of Darkness box and buy it. The Age of Darkness box, you don't have to split between 2 armies. All these boxes are made for just 1 army. You can build a 2,000 point army out of the current starter set. And the only thing that's wasted in that set are the rulebook. It's just the big rulebook that comes with it. That's all. But you get, 40 Mark 6 Marines, you get 10 Terminators, you get a Contemptor Dreadnought, you get the Spartan, which is awesome. You get 2 characters. Like, it is an insanely good start that makes a pretty decent, like, well-rounded army out of the box. You will use every single thing in that box, and yeah, it's a great value. The Saturnine box is probably just slightly more niche, but it also, like, it's a crazy good value for what you get, and you can use all that stuff just fine in that box. and you can make a perfectly legal and acceptable army out of the contents of that box. It's your birthday on the 26th? That's awesome. Well, happy birthday. Set comes out. So painting 30k mech army versus my 40k Thousand Suns? Yeah. Yeah, Castellax are big too. Yeah, rubrics are tough to paint. No, that's fine. Yeah, you gotta really love 40k Thousand Suns to want to work on an army for that. And Plasma Deck is my favorite in Balatro. I think the gold stakes is really hard though with that one. Something about it, like, yeah, it was always like you hit a wall. Okay, now I think I paint the shield white. So before I get to that, I'm gonna work on the back of this. A white shield. Maybe we'll do a black shield on the other one. I don't know. Gosh, yeah, that sucks. No, so you don't focus hard on chips. You still focus on multiplier with plasma. And my understanding was always you still go multiplier. But if you have one good chip like the Bull Joker or something, like then you're just set. Yeah, I guess chips work fine too. Keeping them even is probably really good, as even as possible. If you swing too hard one way, then it kills your total. Because you think you're like plus 100 chips and your multiplier's 2, you're at 50-50, right? But your multiplier's 4, you're at like a much higher number. I can't even do that. The math is way too hard to do, but just the way it evens out. I love these little adorable tanks. Yes, it's one of the new rapier batteries. I got the laser destroyer and quad mortar battery. I magnetized them, so they are currently in separate pieces, which I'm going to be painting the gun casing here in a minute. We're just doing the put on the white. We put on gold and silver so far on everybody, and magnetized your first mini the other day. Nice. Nice. What did you magnetize? Exciting. Is he either a genius or a madman? Yeah, he's probably just both. Yeah. Oh, Bjorn. Okay, nice. Very nice. More Space Wolves, huh? I need to add a little more to the other side. Yeah, I magnetized these on Saturday. It was a bit of a process. There's a couple different things you have to keep in mind. No Space Wolves allowed? Yeah, yep. So I brought my tanks to that event, my militia walkers, and they all had their names on them, which was great to show people and everything. Everybody was getting a good laugh out of the tank names. But I brought like Magnus did everything wrong. I had a weird flame. What else was there? There was this one's for Harry C was one of them. Just yeah, incredible names, guys. So it was a hit. Second Devourer, I think, was one of them. Oh, Tank Sinatra Jr. was present. Okay, I think what I'm gonna specifically paint. Yeah, Tank Sinatra. That's Painting Wife's favorite as well. Tank Sinatra Jr. I think that was Raja's name. That one was solid. There's some good ones like Clerical Oversight and oh man, there's just you guys picked so many great names. You know what? I think we might just do white on the blast shield. I don't think I like the plates being separate. So you got to make a decision though. I can't just once I start, I can't go back. Or do I just do black? Do I do black on the shields? I think I just do black on the shields. Crap. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. You can hear how low my coal black is. I need more of. Yeah, the black's definitely more of like a heavy support kind of color in my mind. Thousand Suns, like kind of the accent color here, so it's probably more appropriate to use. I like the white and the black together though, I think it's nice. So less red I have to highlight. silver, but I'm gonna try to work around those lights like that. Too much. So tomorrow, I will not be streaming tomorrow. So got a doctor's appointment. It's happening. The only time I could get it was right in the middle of the stream time. So not streaming tomorrow. I should be back on Thursday though. Even if it might be a shorter stream, but I should be on Thursday. So that's each time. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate the compliments. There are much better painters out there than me. I just paint a lot. That's what I do. I think Thousand Suns, like this color scheme in particular, if you can be pretty decent at it, I think it looks amazing. I think it's an easy color scheme to make look really good. You just have to be willing to put in the time. Yeah, there's always someone better. Yeah, it's true. It's true. You know what, Blue? Let me not accept the compliment like I want to, okay? Can you give me that? No. No. I just imagine Isildur, you know, in Mountain Doom. Cast it into the fire, destroy it. No. Okay. Get out of here, bright neutral gray. No longer needed. We will need a second coat of you in a minute, though. 2 coats of this color, and I forgot about that. You know, I'm trash accept. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Accept. So do you. No. It's one of those things, especially when you paint, like, you see all your own mistakes, right? And a lot of times people don't see your mistakes. Especially if they're not like, you know, it's not someone judging a paint competition or something. So we all probably think we're a little worse at painting than we actually are. At least to like a normal human's eye. Isildur atop Mountain Dew. That's the 2025 version of Lord of the Rings. They had to get some sponsors. They have like a Hyundai, you know, like, and you just like get a close up of the car's logo when they show it, and they're like driving to Mountain Doom. Yes, the bubbly goodness. I really like Mountain Dew, but I don't drink it often. I'll drink, like, my brother always has Mountain Dew at his house, and I'll drink it, like, when I'm at his house, but my family also doesn't buy soda, so we never have it. Gandalf's driving a Kia instead of a cart. Yeah, right into the Shire. Yep. We're back on car brands again. You see how this like full circle? Right, there's a Volvo. Oh, I need to watch Lord of the Rings soon. A movie. It's pulling me in, guys. Nissan calls for aid and Volkswagen will answer. It's just free ads, you know. All these companies. The anime wasn't great. We watched it. My family actually watched it New Year's night. We wanted a movie to watch, and they just went on like Prime or something. And so we decided to watch it, and I don't think any of us were very impressed with it. It appeals to like a very narrow demographic. It's like hardcore Lord of the Rings fans that are also anime fans. And like, well, I'm sure that Venn diagram isn't too far apart. It's definitely not a circle, you know. It really has come full circle, yeah, yeah. We're here more than the Hobbit trilogy. Yeah. Oh man, that's tough. As a whole, yes, I liked War of the Rohirrim more than the Hobbit trilogy. Partially because the War of the Rohirrim was over in like an hour and a half, and it didn't take 9 hours of movie. The first Hobbit film was great, I think, overall. You know, if people know like the making of the Hobbit films and how messed up everything was that went into making that movie, you probably understand how downhill things went and why they went downhill. But yeah, the second and third Hobbit movies were horrid. I just totally like got fingerprints on that. Dang. Yeah, I'm getting a new Saturnine box. Absolutely. Pre-order it the second I am able. I'll get my name on a list at my local store. Watched a lot of anime slop over the years. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Said I'm not like an anime fan. So if you consider Avatar the Last Airbender anime, then I am an anime fan. But otherwise, I'm talking the movie, not the show. I'm just kidding, guys. I never saw the like M. Night Shyamalan movie or whatever. I never saw that. Yeah, the production of The Hobbit was wild. It's a wild story. Okay, Avatar's peak anime. Alright, I'll take it. I will accept. That was a show we watched with my son, my wife and I, a year or two ago, maybe last summer or something. Oh, he got so into it. It was so good to watch with him. So many good like payoffs in that show. I do think the Netflix Avatar show, their like live action remake, was pretty solid overall. I think the acting is a little rough from some of the younger cast, but like the guy that plays Sokka does an awesome job, and I think he like moves to the forefront a lot more. And the show is a lot more serious and with which is, it's the show's definitely made for like the adult audience of people that grew up watching Avatar, right? Which I never watched Avatar, like the cartoon, until I was an adult anyway. I watched it in like 2020 or something and liked it. But yeah, I think it's definitely geared toward people, like it's nostalgia bait, a lot of it, right? But they did a good job of like moving the show, and they cut a lot of fat out of the show. There's no like filler things. So it's, yeah, it's I think it worked well. I don't like American based animes because they're too serious. Okay. Like actual Japanese animes are so confusing to me. Okay, second coat on there. Let me I fat fingered this thing. Get with these little things. I realize there's more white and black. Okay, I need to paint these black. I'm just painting these all black. I know I coated them red, but I'm gonna make them black. Of episode Japanese anime. Okay, and I also have the gun casings. The gun casings I need to paint white, which I think I'm actually gonna do those first because I know they'll need a second coat. So let's take a look. Don't give me 360 views, which is unfortunate. This really doesn't have a lot of casing. Oh, what is that? Looks almost like an ammo belt or something, which is kind of goofy. I feel like they painted this mortar in the laziest way. Five with a solid face card build. Okay, Face card builds are always risky. Pato, yes. The kit that I'm painting comes with the it's the quad mortar and the laser destroyer. So these are the two weapons, and the other one comes with heavy bolters and the graviton gun. Are you doing high card or what? Flush House Diamonds. Okay, okay. Interesting. I always felt like Flush is a trap in that game. I haven't played Balatro in a while though, so I could be not up to date on the current strats. Alright, so just a bit of the white casing with this other one. Yeah, these were a little tricky to magnetize. If you plan on buying these and magnetizing them, they are a little tricky. Oh, hey Zen, are you here? Yeah. Hey, would you be able to edit a quick YouTube video or two for me if I send you the files? Cool. They're just like one of them. Yeah, it's basically just how I magnetize Perturabo. So I just went through like my process for it and like how it assembles because I want to send it to the client where I shipped his minis to him. It's maybe like 5 minutes. Then I don't know if you want any extra B-roll at the end, but I have a couple little like 20-second shots of him like on the little spinner. Chill stream. Working on Kings of Men. Oh, cool. Those are great minis. I have one of those that I got like way back when. There's like a random purchase when I was like 13. Yeah, these minis are cool. I'm gonna get one of these. Never used it. Okay. Casing on that. Now we have the laser destroyers, and these are going to be a bit more. We're going to get these front ends, and then we have a big like casing area in the back. It's going to be a lot of white. Hope you guys are all having a good Tuesday. Ready to paint. I got some Votan to paint soon. Everything's assembled. Yeah, hopefully you get to them Thursday. Oh, which one's the plant? Is that like ruin your face cards or what? No faces? Yeah, I told you face cards are risky, man. You should know better. Use your face cards for steel cards. That's what you do. What brushes do you like to use? I have a mix of. I've been using these Foxbite brushes for a while, and I am an affiliate with Foxbite. So if you do go on their website, I think it's !Fox. To go on their website, small company, and they have some really nice sable brushes, and I also really enjoy Winsor Newton. The Winsor Newton Series 7s are probably like the gold standard of brushes. And they are for a reason. Like they're really nice to use. So yeah, Foxbite brush set's good though. Is a sent me these brushes and asked me to try them out and tell them how I thought, and I have used them for the past year and a half at this point, so they're showing their age a little bit, so only clean so much before they brushes start to wear down a bit. And I paint a lot, so brushes probably don't last quite as long as a normal person's. Cold steak, yeah. No problem. Good luck with your brush purchase. If you're in the U.S., a good site for Winsor Newton brushes is called Dick Blick. It's an art store, and they sell Winsor Newtons online. My recommendation though is to get the Series 7 round, not the Series 7 miniature round. The miniature rounds are too small. They are not what you want. I only have 2 of these arrays to paint, not 10 of them like I just painted that heavy support squad. Director's cut showed, so I couldn't re-roll it. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, it sucks. Most of this will be casing. Be a little sloppy. We'll come back and get our silver later. At this point, with what it is, I should have just primed these or base coated them bright neutral gray. It was more often when I try to force a run. So just follow it and see what happens. Yeah, when you have a particular strategy you're just trying to do. Yeah, you gotta kind of be open, right? Think like, man, if I can, I want to look for this, but go with the flow. I have been chilling with Bloons Tower Defense 6 lately. Game's amazing. Ooh, got your personal best. Nice. That's a crazy. Yeah, that's a Crazy hand, though. Almost got these guys completely base colored. I got a couple more colors. I have a bronze I want to put on these, and maybe the quad mortars, and then I have some dark grays I'll put on these minis, but then, you know, it'll be wash and highlight time, I think. I think that'll be about it. Bloons is good. Great game. My favorite strategy in Bloons is the water monkeys, the different the ships and the submarines. I think that's the strongest. Yeah, going into yeah, like merchants making money with those, and they can still put out damage. Really good. Okay, I think white casing, first coat. I think we're on there. Hiker and Hanging Chad does work. Yeah, Hiker's so good if you get it early. Yeah. Yeah, now just play high card. And you'll go nuts. All right. Finish this and the black. Happy. I'm gonna work on these in my own. I think Thursday it's gonna be a Votan time, so this might be the only stream I'm painting these guys. Maybe next Sunday I'll finish them. Nope, next Sunday I won't be streaming, guys. Sorry. Or this coming Sunday. I'll be at a family wedding. Partying it up. Who gets married in this economy? Yeah, young people with jobs. That's who get married. I know. We're excited, though. It's my wife's niece, and her fiance is like a huge board game nerd. So He's gonna be playing Warhammer before he knows it. And yeah, the niece is she's great too. She's actually an elementary school teacher, and I think, I don't think she's outright said this to us, but I think my wife was a very big inspiration, a motivator for her to want to be a teacher. And both of my wife's nieces are now teachers. They're both elementary school teachers, which is incredible. So, proud moment. My wife's an incredible lady, and I'm glad that her influence is doing positive things for her family. So, yeah. Very cool, though. And, yeah, again, like, niece's fiance is really cool, too. So... we had him over for like a board game night. Just played this huge convoluted board game. Like probably shouldn't have chosen this game, but whatever. Haven't played it in so long. It'll be fun. And he was loving it. It was great. He's like, this game is so great. Just so many rules. Just like reading the rule book, trying to explain it to everybody. Speaking of board games, what about him? Hey, Groovy, what's going on? Yeah, things are going well here. How are you doing? Everything's going well. It's a game called Vicious Gardens. Really? Okay, I've not heard of Vicious Gardens. It's like a Plants vs. Zombies kind of thing, or what's it like? Screw the other players kind of game. Nice. Are you like competing as plants? Is that what you're doing? He hates it. Oh no. You're competing as gardeners. Okay. That's really funny. That's great, though. Picking up some Chaos Spawn prints. Oh, cool. Okay. With enemas, they're all too dark. Ah, that's too bad. We try dry brushing them up. Might be a way to recover them. See, deck building game. One's super fun. Oh, interesting. I'm usually not a fan of deck builders. Also, Raisha, I can't get my account back. I can't recover my my Star Realms account. I might have to just make a new account, and it's gonna make me buy the game again. Yeah, how dumb is that? Well, I can't log in, and I don't have an email associated with the account, because for some reason it doesn't automatically associate an email with your account. And I think when I made my like online or like profile. Because I never played online, so it was like I made my profile. It's like, do you want to associate an email? I was like, no, I don't care. You know, like 5 years ago or whatever when I started playing it. So now I can't make an account, and since I don't have an associated email, they don't have a way to like contact me to recover it. So I can still play the game offline. I had like 2 expansions or something with it, but I can't play online. Maker and Scholar 50. Oh, that sucks. Appreciated. Yeah. Blue green. Metal spawn. Yeah, okay, okay. I remember the one metal spawn that they had. Just like the second version probably. It's to insert. Okay. Yeah, and the second one was wild looking. It was like the spawn. Just about done with this first coat. I will go through and do a second coat on these just because they're... To get these things here. Plastic spawn, yeah. Bolters at the end of the tentacles, nice. Okay, that's cool. Play other decks, dude. You don't have to sit there and torture yourself. I think gold stake is I was stuck on gold stake with plasma too. Something about it's just difficult. Extra difficult. Okay, white gun casing is on there. Let me see. Let me try this, guys. We're gonna do this real quick. In my kickstand I made for the weapon. Yeah, it's a little bit of a tighter fit. Just because of the paint and everything, but it'll look something like this. It's a little far back. But we'll know after we paint, we'll have to trim down some of the stuff over this magnet, some of the paint is a little thick. But is it Canada Day today? I don't know. Well, happy Canada Day to all the Canadian friends. Hope you guys are having a great day. That's essentially what it is. It'll go down further and this little kickstand will go in, because otherwise it'll end up looking like this. But, yeah. Have 14 spawn? Yeah. Hey, dude, play another game that you can use 14 spawn. That's what you do. We don't need 40k telling us what to do. Plasma would be such a departure from normal scoring. Yeah, it does. It does, Blue. Yeah, I remember playing Plasma a bunch, and then like you go over to a normal deck. I'm like, why aren't I scoring points? I'm doing better than your southern neighbors. Yeah, no kidding. Good job not messing it up. We're gonna do this nice and sloppy here. Sorry, Red. You were nice, but now you have to go. You play 14 spawn in Old World? Probably. I bet you can. There you go, Groovy. Just play Old World. My magnet isn't doing such a good job here. Ooh. Darn it. Yeah, I'm sure you'll figure something out, Groovy. Spawn are pretty ubiquitous among GW's different lines. Okay. One coat of black. Get you. We'll set you there to dry. See if I can't do a quick second coat of white on these laser destroyers. I guess these weapons in general. Get the quad mortars. Yeah, positives and negatives of magnetizing. You definitely save a lot of money. You can play WYSIWYG a lot easier, you know, and ultimately you save paint time because you're painting, you know, multiple weapons on one chassis, and you can field it however you want. The downside is it takes you longer to finish those first minis, or the minis in general. It can feel like a bit of a slog when you're painting all the weapons. Just got a rating unit of 5, and it was very murdery, given no one could do anything. Yeah. Losing your magnetized bits is another downside. Yeah, keeping track of stuff. Having to deal with super glue on plastic minis. It's a bit annoying. Not you, we'll do you. I have baggies where I keep my bits, little sandwich bags. Oh no, magnetize your repulsor. Well, that sucks. I magnetize mine. I still have my weapons. Yeah, I just have little bags for the different weapons. Works out well. Dig them out of the bag and I pop the magnets on and off. Have a central, like a container for each of my armies, or whether it's like work in progress minis that aren't, you know, assembled and not done, or like magnetized bits, or just like spare bits specific to the army that's like I'm going to be using soon. They stuck inside the chassis, but you didn't. Oh, okay. Yeah, that is rough, isn't it? Box came with the past edition. Use as many magnetized weapon options as they can. Yeah. Yep. What you gotta do. Alright, next one. I need a little more white down on the palette. Gotta stay organized. That was my whole like thought when I was working with these Thousand Suns initially, was I want to magnetize a bunch of stuff, but I have to keep them organized. I can't just like put pieces places and expect to ever find them again, because I know how I am and I will lose them forever. And getting into 3D printing really helped that, because one of my attitudes with 3D printing from the outset was I organize into as many subsets of files or folders as I need to organize my prints, or I will download things and never find them again. So I have like, it's like by game system, and then by so my Heresy folder is probably the largest folder I have of STLs. You know, it's Horse Heresy, and then it goes into I have pieces for generic stuff, so like dreadnought parts, or special weapons, or empty arms, or, you know, all of that, like tactical marines, assault marines, like despoiler pieces, all that kind of stuff. And then there's each faction, and then each faction has that same breakdown, like shoulders, heads, knees and toes, you know, all that stuff. So yeah, just when you download the things, you have to make sure they go in the right file. Yeah, I can't imagine trying to find something with, you know, I have like 2 terabytes of STLs. Like I would never find what I needed if I didn't have it organized like that. Duplicate file finder? Oh, I bet you do. Yeah. Yep. I think what I'm going to do soon, I'm going to print all of my bases, my base toppers, for the new Saturnine box. And I think I'm just going to put them together and paint them before the set comes out, just to have them ready. And I think I'm going to print like shoulder pads and stuff, so like Mark II shoulders for Thousand Suns. And I found some good ones that are going to add a lot of like character to the squads and stuff, regardless of like what kind of squad they're in. So I'm really excited about that, to like mess around with some different markings on the shoulders and things. But I'm going to print those. Yeah, I have I have some really, really cool ideas I'm excited about. Get a couple Mark II heads that I plan on using on, like, you know, sergeants and a couple random minis here and there. So paid files I have are much more organized. Okay, I bet. Yeah, I'm excited though. I'm gonna be prepping a lot of stuff. Ugh. Okay, guys. I think there. Hold on. A little bit more black here. Looks like I paint off the edge there. All right. We got base colors. Our Thousand Suns rapiers are starting. These things are about done for now. That's base colors on these. Might be a little bit of gray on them, but a wash on these is gonna look really good. And then we'll start our highlights. These I have a few more colors on, any grays and bronze. I don't know if I'll do any gold accents on these and touch-ups with the silver before I wash. Need a second coat of black on these. Which will be fine. We'll get there. These things I might keep red. I might also do black. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, lots of grays on these minis. And these guys are just a lot of highlighting on the red and stuff to make them look interesting. And some transfers. But that's it. That's a lot of progress, guys. Thanks for chilling with me today. Yeah, well, I paint Heresy minis, and it was fun chatting with you guys about just all the stuff. I'm excited. If I find like more leaks or something, I'll post them. I'll post them in Discord if you guys are interested in reading Heresy leaks as they come out. I'm sure there's going to be stuff coming this week. But I will not be streaming tomorrow. Okay? No stream tomorrow. I will be back. I should be back on Thursday, if even just for a short stream. I should be back on. So, yeah, I'll try to be back on Thursday, and then Sunday I'm not streaming. So another weird, busy week of just everything else going on. But we'll be back at the next week. It'll be a good time. Yeah, and Blue, I'm glad you could make it too. Yeah, it was great. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry everything that's going on with the family, but hopefully she's better soon and you can go back to work, right? Go back in office. But anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. And I will see you all on Thursday. Senior boot camp.